Hello students, we are learning English grammar. The topic for today is direct and indirect speech. It is also called as reported speech. Let us first look at the rules. We have the rules of the tenses. Here we will see how the tenses will change from direct speech to indirect speech. Then we have the time and place rule, modal verbs, imperative sentences, universal truths, and imaginary conditions. Let us look at these rules one by one. Let us start with the tenses. Now here you can see there are two columns. The one on the left is for direct speech. The one on the right is for indirect speech. Now whenever we convert direct speech into indirect speech, we go back a tense. Going back a tense means stepping back in the past. That means if the direct speech is in present tense, we step back and move into past tense. But if the direct speech is in past tense, we step back and we move into past perfect tense. Now look at the table carefully. You will see that all the present tense has changed to past tenses, and all the past tenses have changed to perfect tenses, and there's no change in the past perfect tense, because past perfect tense is always the last step, the dead end. If the direct speech is in simple present, the indirect speech is in simple past. Let us look at the example. She said, "It's cold." Now look at the word "it is." In the direct speech, when we convert it into indirect speech, "it is" changes to "it was." If the direct speech is in present continuous tense, it changes into past continuous tense in the indirect speech. She said, "I am teaching English online." "I am" is changed to "she was." Note that the pronoun here is also changed. Here we have "I" in the direct speech. In the indirect speech, we have "she." We have used "she" because "I" is actually referring to she. If the direct speech is in present perfect tense, the indirect speech is in past perfect tense. She said, "I have been on the web since 1999. Look at the change. Have been is changed to had been, because have been is present perfect and it has changed to had been, which is past perfect. If the direct speech is in present perfect continuous, it changes into past perfect continuous. She said, "I have been teaching English for 7 years. Note that have been here is changed to had been. In case of past simple, it changes to past perfect. Let us look at the sentence. She said, "I taught online yesterday." Now look at this word taught. It has changed to had taught, because taught is simple past and had taught is past perfect. If the direct speech is in past continuous, the indirect speech is always in past perfect continuous. Look at the sentence. She said, "I was teaching earlier." Note that here "was" is changed to had been, because "was" is past and had been is past perfect. If the direct speech is in past perfect, the indirect speech is also in past perfect, because remember, past perfect is the dead end. If the direct speech is in past perfect continuous, the indirect speech is also in past perfect continuous. We just have to change the pronouns in the sentences, that's all. Now let us look at the second rule, the time and place rule. In case of time and place rule, here you can see there are two columns. The one on the left refers to direct speech. The one on the right refers to indirect speech. There are a few set of words which indicate the time and place, like now, today, here, this, tomorrow, next, yesterday, last, ago, and so on. So these group of words indicate either time or place. So time and place will always change while we are converting direct speech into indirect speech. So note that now changes to then, today changes to that day, here changes to there, this becomes that. So in this week, this has changed to that. So it has become that week. Tomorrow becomes the following day, the next day, or the day after. Next becomes the following, the next, or the week after. Yesterday becomes the previous day or the day before. Last becomes previous or before. Ago becomes previously or before. Whenever we have 2 weeks ago, it changes to 2 weeks previously or 2 weeks before. Tonight changes to that night. Last Saturday changes to the previous Saturday or the Saturday before. Next Saturday changes to the following Saturday, the next Saturday, the Saturday after, or that Saturday. Now we will see some examples related to the time and place references. If the direct speech, I saw him today, she said. In the indirect speech, note that today has changed to that day. In the direct speech, we have yesterday. In the indirect speech, it has changed to the day before. The day before yesterday in the direct speech has changed to 2 days before. Tomorrow has changed to the next day. The day after tomorrow has changed to in 2 days' time or 2 days later. Next week has changed to the following week. Last week has changed to the previous week. A week ago has changed to a week before. This week has changed to that week. This shirt has changed to the shirt, or we can also write that shirt. Here is changed to there. Also note, in all these sentences, note that the pronouns have changed. Here I has become she. Here I has become he, because the first sentence was referring to she and the second sentence was referring to he. Also note the change in pronouns in all these sentences. So the pronouns also change from direct speech to indirect speech. They change according to the pronouns given in the direct speech. Now let us look at modal verbs and let us see how modal verbs change from direct speech to indirect speech. Here we have two columns. The column on the left refers to direct speech. The column on the right refers to indirect speech. Can changes to could. Will changes to would. Shall also changes to would if shall is used for future tense. Should changes to should. That means there is no change in should. Should remains as it is. Must changes to had to. Now may, if may is used for a possibility, it changes to might. That means, consider the sentence, I may go tomorrow. Here, in this sentence, may indicates the possibility that I may or may not go tomorrow. So in that case, may will change to might, and the sentence will become, I might go tomorrow. But if may is used to ask permission, like, may I come in, sir? In that case, may will change to could, and the sentence will become, could I come in, sir? Shall, if it is used to give suggestion, like, shall I help you? In that case, shall will change to should. And if shall is used for future tense, like, it shall rain tomorrow, in that case, shall is changed to would. Let us look at some examples. She said, I will write a letter. Here, will changes to would. Also note the change in pronoun. Here, I has changed to she. Also, we have added a word, that. Now, we can add that, and in some sentences, we can even omit it. So, we don't have to use that in all the sentences. Using that is not necessary. She said, I may write a story. Now here, this may is indicating a possibility that I may or may not write a story. So whenever may refers to possibility, may changes to might. So students, here we have seen the change in tenses, change in modal verbs, change in time and place rule. In the next video, we will see imperative sentences and how imperative sentences change from direct to indirect. We will see universal rules and how they change from direct to indirect, and we will see how imaginary conditions affect direct and indirect speech. So that's all for today.